Hi friends, today let's have a look at a final account sum with some interesting adjustments. Let's go into the sum. In this sum, we can see that they have asked us to prepare the trading and profit and loss account and the balance sheet of Sangeeta for the year ending 31st March 2018. So let's start with the format of the trading and profit and loss account. So here we go. We have the format of the trading and profit and loss account. So first we are going to start with the trading account on the debit side with two opening stock given there as rupees 12,000, and then whenever we go for the second item, which is purchases, we have to look in for the purchase return whether we have it in the problem or not. So in the problem we do not have any purchase return, so we can write the purchases in the outer column. Next we move to the credit side with sales. The same concept, you're going to search for sales return also. There is no sales return, so credit side, sales as a first item. The next item on the credit side is closing stock, which is given in the adjustments below. So closing stock should be taken and written in the outer column. Other than this, do we have any direct expenses in this problem? No. So directly we are going to balance. So we're going to add the debit side and the credit side and compare for the greatest to be written in the grand total on both the sides and the least side to be the answer. Leave 3 lines and you can draw the grand total. So when we add the credit side first, we get 1,09,200, and when we had the debit side, we get 7,512 is 87,000. So put those totals. Now compare which is greater. When we compare which is greater, 1,09,200 is greater. Therefore, we are going to put 1,09,200 as a grand total on both the sides. So once we finish that, we go to the least side. The least side is the debit side. So on the debit side, we are going to go and write the answer as 2 gross profit carried down. So gross profit carried down will be transferred to the profit and loss account. So give that as a narration below. Now how do I find out this gross profit carried down? 1,09,200, the credit side total, the biggest total, minus the debit side total, which is 87,000. So when I subtract the both of it, I will get the answer as 22,200. Put that straight to gross profit carried down with the narration written below. And to highlight the answer, please box it so that the person who corrects the paper can easily find out which is the gross profit. Now with this, is it over? No. We have carried it down, so we have to bring it down to the opposite side, which is by gross profit brought down. And copy down the same number which you've written, which is 22,200. Now with this, that is by bringing down the gross profit, we have started the profit and loss account with an adjustment. So profit and loss account can be started with adjustment. The first adjustment that we are starting is interest on capital. So interest on capital will be calculated on the percentage given in the adjustment using the amount of capital. So what is the amount of capital given in the problem is 20,000 and the interest rate is 10%. So simple, just remove one zero from the 20,000, you will get your answer, which is 2,000 rupees. Put it in the outer column. Next we are moving on into the next adjustment, which is manager's remuneration or manager's commission. So in this sum they have given it as manager's remuneration. Let's go ahead and write manager's remuneration. So manager's remuneration cannot be calculated now because we need the net profit. That is, I call it as a dummy net profit. It's not the actual net profit. So we need the net profit. So I leave it blank with giving 2 lines for the working. Next, we can move on into the next item, which is the remaining items which are there in the trial balance of your problem, which does not have any adjustment, like miscellaneous receipts. So it goes to the credit side. See, if there is a word called receipts in it, it definitely goes to the credit side of the profit and loss account, because trading account there are no other receipts other than this sales and closing stock. Then I go ahead with writing the advertisement on the debit side because it is an expense. Then we have is the establishment expenses on the debit side again because it's an expense. Then moving on into the next is and make a note, all these non-adjustment items, that is items that do not have an adjustment, has to be written on the outer column because they do not have anything to add or subtract, so we can directly write it in the outer column. Even adjustments which do not have any addition or subtraction to be done with can be written in the outer column, like interest on capital and our manager's remuneration in this particular problem. Then we have the salaries written in the outer column. So with this, all the items relating to the profit and loss account is over. So now leave 3 lines and draw the grand total. Moving on, if we add up the credit side, we get 22,800. So I've shown you the working over there. So 22,200 plus the 600, we will get 22,800. Then adding up the credit side, we are getting 15,400. So which is greater? 22,200. The credit side balance is greater. Now keep that in mind and subtract this. We will get the answer, which is a net profit. Now which side? Sorry, it is a dummy net profit because the manager's remuneration is not yet done. So put that 7,400 dummy net profit for the manager's remuneration to be calculated, which is 10% before. Before meaning the formula is going to be net profit into percentage by 100. So 7,400 into 10% is 740, removing a 0. Now simple, to get the actual net profit, just subtract the manager's remuneration that you have got from the dummy net profit. So 7,400 minus 740, we will get the answer for the actual net profit. So take that, and still the debit side is the least side. So write it on the debit side as 2 net profit. There's no carried on or brought down because it's going to be transferred to the capital account in the balance sheet. So we are going into a statement. We are not going into another account. Therefore, no carried on and brought down. So we are going to write the narration as transfer to the capital account in the balance sheet. So once that is done, write down the answer, which is rupees 6,660, and the credit side total is the greatest total. So take that is 22,800 and put it in the grand total on both the sides. Once you're done with it, the profit and loss account is over. Next, so we have a perfect profit and loss account. That's what I showed you. Super simple there. So next we move on into the next statement, which is balance sheet. So when you start the balance sheet, write down balance sheet as on and the date 31/3/2018. The left side, that is the debit side page, becomes the liabilities and the right side page becomes the assets, with the rupee symbol in the both inner column and the outer column. So I prefer starting from the liabilities. You can even start from the assets, that's not a problem. So when you start from the liabilities, the first item is going to be our capital. So with capital, we are going to add the net profit. So capital given in the problem is 20,000 plus the net profit is 6,660. So if you add that, you will get 26,660. With this 6,660, we are going to add the interest on capital adjustment, which is given there in the problem, with the capital because it is interest charged on the capital. So we found out interest on capital from the profit and loss account, which was 2,000 rupees. So I've shown it to you over there. We have already calculated, so you can just take the profit and loss as reference, 2,000 rupees. Now when you add this, you'll get 28,660. Again, I'm going to write this in the inner column because we have drawings to be subtracted. So I write down minus drawings over there and write down the amount of drawings in the inner column, which is 4,500. So subtract 28,600 from 4,500. We get 24,160. Again, put it in the inner column because we have income tax to be subtracted. So next we move on into income tax, which is minus income tax, and the amount being 800, and when we subtract we get the capital as 23,360. Next we move on to the next adjustment, which is manager's remuneration. So manager's remuneration already we have found out in the profit and loss account. So we can go to the profit and loss account, take that as a reference and write manager's remuneration 740 rupees in the outer column directly. Next we move to the asset side with the closing stock as the first adjustment there. So closing stock from the adjustments, let's take and write that down on the outer column, in the outer column with the amount 14,200. Next I don't think so we have any adjustments, so we'll be moving on into the non-adjustment item. No, we have to adjust this income tax on both the sides, right? So income tax will be adjusted along with the cash at bank or the cash in hand that is given there. So cash at bank given there in the problem is rupees 3,200 minus the income tax that we've written, which is 800. So subtract the both, we will get rupees 2,400. So put it in the outer column. Next, moving on into the non-adjusting items given in the problem, which is furniture, and put the amount in the outer column, rupees 10,000. And next we move to the next item, which is bills receivable, which is rupees 8,000. And here in the credit side we have bills payable, which is a non-adjusting item. So bills payable on the credit side. Put the amount in the outer column. With that, all the items are over. Leave 3 lines and draw the grand total. The major reason why 3 lines is if we leave out any item, we can always include it in a very neat manner. So we're going to add up the asset side and the liability side, and both the sides have to be the same answer. So when we add the asset side, we get 34,600, and the liability side when we add we get 34,600. So I hope the sum was interesting and you understood the sum. Thank you.